Oh, the microphone is hot. Everyone, welcome to the welcome to the Lynn and Scott show. And I'm just surprised because we had Theodora here, and all of a sudden, the one and only that I interviewed this week, Bob Donnell, is here. The cute guy from this picture. Yes, I said that and I blushed the other day. I'm going to call myself out.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, to the stage here. We are excited to be here. I'm Lynn Serrano, and this is my partner in crime.
Scott Jones. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us tonight. And guys, thanks for coming on. This is good. This is good. And
we were talking a few minutes before the show, and I saw a post that was kind of a thing of, and I'm glad you're here, Bob, because I'm going to paraphrase something that I saw somebody else post, and I'm not going to say their name or anything, but they basically were talking about, they wanted to acknowledge all the people who are waking up to toxicity, gaslighting, and narcissistic behavior running rampant in the personal growth, self-help coaching, and even spiritual healing space. And basically talking about how some people, as they say, it's personal. Oh, here we go. We got another guest. Hey, Barry, welcome to the stage. I'm glad you're here. So anyhow, thanks, Scott, for being here. So this article I was reading was basically talking about how, since COVID, we got all these gurus, and all these people that so-called know things that don't know nothing. And, Bob, you've been in the field, and Scott's been in the field, and Barry is welcome to the stage. He's a relationship coach and has been in his field for a long time. Bob, do you know Barry?
I do.
Okay, welcome to the stage. Welcome to the stage. I'll be having Barry on my show here.
They look like brothers, don't they?
Take that as a compliment then.
I think we need to do a little ancestry.com and figure something out here. I think somebody knew somebody and nobody told anybody.
Hey, they both live in California. You guys both live in California? No.
Could be.
You do?
Yeah, but this accent's not from California, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And wait a second, before
he was part of the family that had to go hide overseas somewhere. That's what it was.
He's the beginning of the lineage that came over here. Hold on a second. We have this person coming in. The one and only, I produce her show, Debbie.
Hey.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here. As soon as I clicked on, I heard all this laughter, and I'm like, I'm at the right place.
The right place.
This is awesome. And you know what? I don't know. He's going to try to make it, but Randy, who I had on the show today, he might stop. He's at a golf tournament thing, and Scott, so he sends his best regards. He's going to start trying to pop up in here with us, and it was a great show. And Bob, I know you watched it, so thank you so much.
Absolutely. Yeah. Great guest.
Yes. Thank you. And you were a great guest the day before.
Thank you.
I appreciate that. So the
let's talk about that.
Oh, stop. So we're talking today a little bit about some people that are come out of the woodworks to self-coach and things like that. And I was reading this article here, and somebody says, I want to remind you to stand your ground. I've been reminded, I'm here to remind you, honor your values. I'm here to remind you, you deserve to be treated with respect. I'm here to remind you, you can do it how you want to. I'm here to remind you that there's nothing wrong with you. I'm here to remind you that there are ones who want to manipulate and exploit and lie. I'm here to remind you, you're the one making the space safer for others. I'm here to remind you to keep going, whatever you choose to do. And that really hit me hard because I've been coaching people in relationships since I was in 6th grade, but that's beside the point. What I'm saying is there's so many people out there that are not genuine.
I did that too. All my ex-wives say I was really good at it too.
Mine too.
Yeah.
What about you, Barry? There's 3 girls, 3 boys here. So
be quiet.
Brady Bunch.
No, this show, the Lynn and Scott show, is called As We See It. And you're all here giving your perspectives because it's important for all of us to have a viewpoint as we see it. Right, Scott?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's about bringing people together and just agreeing, disagreeing, sharing different opinions. There's so many different flavors of everything out there. Everybody's got a valid point to be shared because from their perspective, it is valid. and we can only learn by listening to a lot of other voices, not just to our own.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunately where we fall into this trap that Lynn was talking about with these fly-by-night coaches, life coaches, this coach, that coach, who aren't trained, who aren't prepared, and who spend more time telling people what's wrong with them instead of uplifting people and bringing people to a higher sense of purpose and a better sense of being. You can't create somebody in your image, and I see a lot of people out there trying to do that. And it's because they're only listening to their own voice. The smartest man in the world doesn't know shit about shit. So that's really what we're talking about.
That's eloquent.
And by the way, are you guys all sharing this right now on your pages?
I should share this.
Go to my page and share it.
I want to say something real fast too. Bob, yesterday you had a really good point about, when you get up on, like, for your TED Talk, you said a lot of things that other people have said, but you're saying it from your perception and how you view it. And your delivery is different than the other people or the books and the studies that you got all of this information from. That really resonated with me, because it's so true that the same person can say the same thing to you, and it may not be your right time in your life, or it may just be the delivery of the next person. But then all of a sudden you have this aha moment with the information that's given to you, which is what you did with TED Talks, right? There were a lot of people that really got something out of that from you, but maybe they've heard some of those things before. So that was kind of like a tie-in with what Lynn was saying.
Yeah. Great information. Thank you.
So what's your opinion on this, Bob? Not to point you out, I can give you a minute if you'd like.
Bob.
Yeah. What?
Tell her.
Debbie.
She's pointing you out.
No, Debbie, now stop it.
He's still in shock about meeting his long lost brother. So give him He's waiting for Oprah to show up in a second and say, "Hey, you both win a car."
No, but it's Marvy Povich to say, "You're not the father."
I'm not the father.
That's hilarious. I'm not the
Yes, just say I'm not the father. That'd be great. What I have to say about, I think everyone's an expert until they're called on it.
I love it.
I was told when I was founding my nonprofit, I had an attorney tell me, "You know what an expert is, Bob?" And I said, "What?" I was 19, and he says, "Someone you don't know."
Yeah.
And I said, "What?" And he goes, "If I put you in a white coat and some glasses, maybe put some hair that was a little bit tinted a little bit, and walked you into a room, and as an attorney, I said, 'This is my doctor. His name's Bob Donnell,' everyone in the room would say you're a doctor. They wouldn't ask the question. They wouldn't try and argue or diffuse that. And he said, that's what an expert is. He says, so just remember, when somebody proclaims they're an expert, remember that there's some information behind that may validate it or may invalidate it.
Absolutely.
And I want to invite Mr. Lenny Davis, who is a retired federal agent, has served our country since he was 16, and he still serves our country in many different ways. But see, he knows about fakes and identities and all these things, so he can chip right in here. But Lenny, thank you so much for gracing your presence with us. I love you so much.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Did you say federal? Did you say federal agent?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have to leave now, Scott?
Peace out, Scott.
Their names?
Don't worry. I was at the FBI. My parents were married. Okay. So I couldn't be in the FBI. I was a federal agent for the United States Customs Service.
Oh, wow.
And then 2 years as an immigration and customs enforcement agent before I could retire. So I retired as an ICE hole. So
that sounds oddly close to something else. What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. Immigration and customs enforcement ICE agent. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for your service. Absolutely.
Hey.
Absolutely. And I could talk to you because, my family immigrated here from Wales. I mean, we snuck into the country from Wales during that big, rush of Welsh that came in. But we've all been forgiven, so we're good.
Well,
we're good.
brother, I'm Welsh too, so We've probably got some sort of short-tailed relative somewhere.
Speaking of relatives, that relatively is the topic here because you came in a little late. And what did you say, Scott, about
I don't know. I got to pull this
areas?
back a little bit so I'll fit in with everybody.
Yeah,
There we
come
go.
on, give it the
Yeah, you're
program.
Hey, God only created a few perfect heads. The rest of them he covered with hair.
Oh, I love it.
I love it.
That's
I love
good.
it.
That's
I'll
great.
take that one up.
That's
But
fun.
Seriously, yes, but seriously, the topic of all these people that are, it's just sad that they're manipulating so many people out there to think that they're gurus or they're just imposters themselves. And I love how you said about calling people out. And I think that's probably where I feel right now about a few people that I want to just call out because it just doesn't, it doesn't sit right with me. But I know it's not my place to call it out. People need to figure these things out for themselves. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think one of the best things we can do is ask questions.
Yes.
When we ask questions, then the truth, people either identify with what the answers are or they don't. And either way, everything's good.
I love that.
We need to ask questions and we need to listen to the answers.
Amen.
Yes.
And not, I'm so tired of people screaming and thinking the louder they are, the more righteous their point is, no matter what the subject. And it seems like we've lost all common sense.
Yeah. And Scott, don't you find that if it's either they're yelling louder or they're repeating it so often that hoping that somebody finally starts to believe it?
That's really the point. I think what people do, and the truth is, I find more insecure and out of control people trying to help other people than I do the people who actually need help. They're trying to create themselves in this image that they cannot fulfill. You're right. I'm the fastest runner in the world as long as I never have to enter a race. That's what these people do. And unfortunately, in the area I work in addictions and mental health, there's people out there that are doing damage to other people that are giving them wrong advice. They're giving them very bad, and these people are vulnerable and they're taking advantage of them. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's an answer for that. I agree. You have to ask questions, but the truth is you have to really surround yourself with people that you trust before you start looking for strangers to fix you, because, your backup is going to be your family and your friends, not this guy out there who's charging you $6.50 an hour to talk to you on the phone.
Right. Very true.
I have to agree with you, Scott. So many people rely on what other people think and believe. And I work in financial services, and I have to tell you, a lot of people are just afraid to go and say, "Hey, I need help." And so what do? They take somebody's advice that they don't necessarily know what they're doing either. And let's just take an example. I have, let's say, $15,000 in credit card debt. I will go to my mom and dad because mom and dad are the closest to me, right? And ask them, okay, what do I do? How do I get out of debt? Well, they have $30,000 in credit card debt. How are they going to be able to teach me how to get out of debt?
True.
So so I feel like we just go with the flow almost, because that's what our parents did. That's what social media is pushing us to do. This coach is the best. This coach is the best. This guy is the best. And we don't really dig and make the decision for ourselves to really look at that person. Are they truly the best for us? Or are they the best for somebody that believes they're the best? And then what?
Right.
2 points. There's no coach that fits everybody. And if you think you do, then you don't fit anybody.
Right.
And second, the worst thing you could do is go to a coach if you have no clue what you're looking for. Teodora, people come to you, they know what they're looking for. They're looking for financial help. They're looking for budgeting. They're looking for, how do I solve this? If you don't know what you're looking for, you can't expect somebody else to give it to you, because you'll buy into whatever they tell you.
It's true.
They're gonna take you to the oasis, and if there's no water there, you'll drink the sand because they tell you to.
Well,
so you got to know what you're looking for.
I'm sorry, Scott. I had to giggle a minute because you said looking for financial advice and you don't know what those people are. The last 5 years that I worked for the government, I ran an undercover money laundering unit here.
Wow.
And I was
hold on, I gotta get the tape back out.
Yeah. Wow. I'm retired.
My
But anyway, I
This is being
was
recorded,
the
though.
guy. I was the guy that everybody got. I had informants that said, "Go see Lenny in Las Vegas. He'll launder your money." And we had a deal set up, pretty great operation set up where we would take bad guys' money and put it in the bank, and we would eventually indict them and seize all their property and all that. But they thought I was the greatest guy in the world till I went, "Oh, hey, by the way, here's my badge, and you're in trouble."
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And Lenny's been my friend for over 25 years. I ran to him for advice many times.
Well, I'm sure
You
if we
knew
had
you
met
had a
years
fight.
ago, we would have been friends for 25 to life or anything like that. Yeah.
Well, I was going to be a New York
Well
State
said,
trooper
Scott.
myself, so I was a peace officer in New York. So, but that wasn't.
I'm a peace officer at my house.
Oh, that's worse.
That's
It
yeah,
is.
that's the
Yeah, it
hardest
is.
job of all, probably.
So let's hear from Barry, because
Yeah.
we'll love to hear something from Barry. Go ahead,
I'm just
Barry.
enjoying this. It's been fun. Now, a couple of things that came up when you was talking. One of which is like if people test drove coaches like they test drive cars, that would definitely make things better for a start.
Wow.
People sold a bill of goods. The second thing is, and it was a conversation I was having with on a podcast earlier today, is that one of the challenges we have is we have a bad habit of instead of listening to hear somebody, we listen to talk back to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest things I have as a coach is my job is to shut up and listen before I even think about responding, because my bad habit of me is like, oh, I know what they need before I actually listen to what they need. And then I can actually change my course. So one of my biggest challenges I keep remembering to do is to be patient and not try to rush in and fix everything. Because most coaches have a toolbox that's this big, and it's like, this toolbox can fit everybody's problem.
Right.
My toolbox is massive, and I've got to figure out where to look in it to find what I need for them, because I need to find out what they really want.
That's why I'm getting a little bit benefit from the NLP, because you realize you got to stop reading people and actually be with the people. And I'm really enjoying the don't even worry about what you're going to say, because if it's meant to say, you're going to say it, then. But listening is really awesome, and I feel like they should teach that in the schools, that basic, tool.
Agreed.
They really should. They should teach some rapport building where if you listen to somebody for 3 minutes, they'll tell you how to speak to them. They'll tell you what words you should use with them. They'll tell you what kind of body language to use. I mean, all of you, I've kind of already got, except for Barry with his New Jersey accent. I haven't quite figured it out yet. But people will tell you, I'm sorry, I do a lot of teaching, and I teach with humor, because people learn more when they laugh than when they're sitting there trying to focus. But yeah, but you're right, Lynn. They should be teaching that to people. They should be teaching that in the business world, in the colleges, in the schools. When you go out there, if you use some basic skills of NLP, you can win every interview you ever go to. You just learn how to listen to them and then give them what they're asking for. And coaches need to be doing that too. But I'm afraid Barry's right. They're just so busy waiting to say, I can't wait to give you my knowledge, instead of saying, what can I learn from these people?
Yeah.
And I think the only thing worse than that is the person the coach that's sitting there waiting to tell you how much their product is or their service.
Yeah. Right.
Right. I mean, they're sitting there, they're just chomping at the bit to get to the close. They've forgotten that everything else before that. But yeah, I'm in full agreement with you guys.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm talking about here, is that we all have different opinions. We all see it different. And yet none of us are sitting here trying to sell anybody. We're just trying to be humans, sharing some human things that we all are missing.
I got some paintings back here for sale. I mean,
Scott, that segment.
I can still financially advise you.
That's call to action later, you guys. You messed it up. You see? You can't even get all these people.
What are you working on, Scott? What are you painting now?
Actually, I stepped away from. I was in the middle of Kurt Cobain. I'm doing a pop art Kurt Cobain painting. It's a new venue I have. I got tired of just sitting and playing guitar all day, so I took up painting, and now I'm working with other people in recovery and who are in mental health crisis, who use painting and art as a way of dealing with it. These are my paintings that I've done in the last couple of months. I never painted before February. Never painted in my life.
Yes.
And just started.
That's like all of a sudden Lynn saying, I'm going to be on America's Got Talent. I'm going to sing. I mean, like, how do you just
That's amazing.
painting like that? That's amazing.
You know, it's funny.
You know
though,
why?
we
Because
gotta
I have
say
the right
something.
people in my life that say, Scott, you don't even know your own gifts.
Hmm.
Stop looking for other people to find your gifts. Start looking
Yeah.
at you and figure out what they are.
Let's talk
And
about that.
that's what I discovered.
But wait a second. We need to do a clause from, and that's my Long Island accent. We need to do a clause.
The clause,
Joe-
Santa's here?
Joe-
Santa?
No, Joe was here last week. Joe Ingram, you know him very well, Bob.
Yep.
And he said, wait a second. You're painting all dead people. So Joe was like, don't paint me. I got to make a clip of that because that was hilarious.
I know. I already heard that. I painted Taylor Swift. I'm still waiting. But no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Justin Bieber.
No,
The
Lenny,
Biebs.
but wait a second. Now, Lenny, you're a witness over here. So if anything happens, you got to clear Scott. Okay, that's.
I have no direct recollection of that, Congressman.
Oh shoot!
I do not recall. I'll have to speak to an attorney. That's the only thing I can say.
Oh,
But
On
yeah.
advice of my attorney.
So just watch for it. It's going to be soberlifeart.com, and it's going to feature not just my paintings, but photography, poetry, and everything from people who are recovering from mental health and addiction problems and finding their creative side. And part of the proceeds will go to my nonprofit, which is One Brother, One Sister, which brings trauma relief and mental health relief to first responders, police, fire, and military. So,
Wow,
Bob, you're in the right place, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's near and dear to you too, isn't it?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm a sir now. Okay.
No.
he just slipped back into the military somehow. I don't know.
Sorry about that. I was about to say that to him. Yeah, that's something I'm very, very passionate about. I do a lot of work with people coming out of crisis situations, and so like the Vegas shooting or the Saga high school shooting, things like that. I spend a lot of time going to those types of events and just being a person there and available. So.
Well,
Man,
maybe we'll have to talk afterwards. We'll have to talk afterwards and see what we can do.
Thank you so much for what you're doing, because you're approaching people in such a unique way that I can't imagine how many thousands are going to be helped. So thank you.
Well, I will say this, and this is what's really exciting is Scott has an online course that's actually accredited, and it's for intervention. And I'm going to learn it, and I'm going to try to start working in the Western area here to get more people to get intervention. And the course is so reasonable. And yeah, I'm selling right now. Where do you get trained certification for $275?
It's okay if you're selling somebody else.
Yeah, but I'm not telling anybody to do whatever you don't want to do. But that's the different point here.
Yeah.
But anyway,
no, let's do what Soupy Sales did. Okay, kids, go to your parents' wallet.
Go to PayPal.
Bring the little card with all the numbers and then call me. No.
And let's make a song out of it. 8675. No, never.
309. I got you, Lynn. I got you.
Oh my goodness. So anyhow, let's real quick talk about all of us have Lenny, we'll start with you and go backwards here or something. But you don't have a podcast, but you've been on many podcasts, and you were just recently on one. Do you want to tell us what that podcast was? Because this is a podcast too. So
actually, I was on a local radio show here. I do a lot of. I've been a firearms instructor since 1980, a tactical instructor. Spent 11 years on our SWAT teams. I own a security firm and private investigations and training firm here in Las Vegas now. I retired from the government on Friday and went to work for private contractors on Monday. So and
how many years ago was that?
That was 2005.
Yeah.
And I'm an instructor for the State Department in anti-terrorism. So I get to go all over the world and do that from time to time. Thank God that's been kind of quiet the last couple of years. So I'm not stuck in an aluminum tube, but I get asked quite a bit. There's a local show here in Vegas, Kevin Wall. He's a pretty middle of the road kind of guy. I like him. And then Wayne Allen Root, who's a little right of center, a little right of Genghis Khan, but they bring me on when we have, if there's incidents like Buffalo, or I did so many interviews after the October 1st shooting here from everywhere from NPR through French national TV. So I kind of give those. I've got my law enforcement background and firearms background. So
Yeah, that's
those
great.
are kind of what I do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Excellent.
And Bob, do you have a podcast or do you do live stream yourself or no?
I do a lot of live streaming, but I have a Monday morning at 10, which is for my membership. And so I bring on different guests of honors for that. And then I do a group coaching call on Wednesdays. So both of those are via live stream.
Awesome. And Miss Debbie?
Yeah, I have an S Corp, Schultz and Bettendorf Corporation. I do marketing for several different businesses, independent contracting. And then I have an image consulting business called Find Your Fabulous, which spurred the interest to write a book about, listen, we all want to look good on the outside, but let's face it, we got to love ourselves on the inside. Really, truly love who we are before we really will look good on the outside. So it's all about internal stuff and glowing outside. So and then I just recently started a podcast and I have the best producer on the planet, Lynn Serrano.
Stop.
Yeah, she's helping me because I'm not real techie. So I know how to talk. That's really, I kind of got that going for me, but she's helping me with the back. And Teodora was on my show last week.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it was last week. Ooh, what day is it? Yeah.
And Barry? And Barry, you have a podcast, or I know you're going to be a guest on my show really soon.
I will be next month, I think.
Yes.
I don't have a podcast on my own, but I've been on about 25, 30 podcasts this last couple of years, and I've got one just I recorded today, and I'm already scheduled for the second time with her next month. So that's happening a lot. I do have a web show that I put out on Thursdays with a friend of mine called Let's Talk Dating. That goes out like similar to this on a live stream through StreamYard. That's archived on my YouTube channel because I don't know where else to put it. Otherwise, I do a lot of stuff on I'm on Clubhouse a lot. My particular rooms I do go to regularly. Otherwise, it's all private coaching stuff.
Nice.
Yes, I do coaching.
And what are your topics on coaching?
Basically, my focus is on relationship, helping single women heal their hearts to have healthy relationships. So the work's always internal. So what?
Where have you been?
Stop doing jumping jacks over there for a minute, Teodora. We'll get to un momento. Espérase, un momento. Okay?
Like they don't have enough of an upper hand. Come on.
No, trading with the enemy, are you, Barry? Thanks.
No, I'm helping us.
Yeah, no.
Totally selfish. No, the thing is that, and as you were saying, Debbie, it's like inside out. That's the thing is, my work is always about the relationship with ourselves. But it's more glamorous to say, "I hope you find an amazing relationship." I just don't say it at the very first. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm going to skip over to Bob really quick and say, Bob, what topics do you cover in your coaching and your 501? I think you have a
501(c)(3).
Yeah.
I had that a lot. That was a long time ago.
Okay.
Most of my stuff is dealing with personal and professional. So everything from sales and leadership to personal responsibility. So those are, grief is obviously one of the ones because of my background. I get a lot of that, or a lot of crisis.
Yeah. And if you want to know his list or anything, you need to go watch my show or see his bio there. It's just amazing. It's amazing what he's been through. And I'm grateful that you're here. So Miss Teodora.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, before you ask Barry and Bob, go ahead.
I'm gonna wait another second because you're gonna ask Bob another question. Because
No.
I think I know that you.
No. I'm done asking. I think he's done saying what he's got to say. But it's so funny. I'm missing something.
I don't know. It just
We're
keeps
gonna
going back to
stop.
Bob. I don't know. It's all about Bob here. Okay, let's just
No,
be
it's
real.
not. It's
It's like
just I
some
forgot
twisted
to ask
Hollywood
him.
Squares, and he's Paul Lynn over there getting all the
Hollywood
attention.
Listen,
What
I
is
asked
getting
Barry.
done,
I
right?
asked Barry the topic.
He's like, I know you're going to ask Bob another question.
No, and I forgot to ask Bob what kind of coaching he did. So that's why I went back to fix what I forgot to do. So, Theodora, it's your turn now.
My turn. Well, I do have a podcast. What?
You do too.
I do. Oh, you did that. I do have a podcast, and it's called Be Victorious. And I started the podcast, and I'm going to look at you here. I started the podcast because I want to help other people share their stories so that we can inspire others with our story. I'm bringing guests into my podcast to talk about who they are and what motivated them to be victorious and how did they become victorious, so that we can help others, because there are so many people out there that are listening or watching and could benefit from hearing us. And there's, just like we talked earlier, it's gonna be a moment where you hear what you need to hear, and it might be that it takes several times to hear that over and over again until it hits.
Yeah.
And so that's what I want to do. Just talk about being victorious over and over and over again with all the guests that I have in my podcast, so that we can all get there.
I love it.
And I also do financial services. I help people. I started the business in full pandemic because I was the one that needed help. And I realized that just like me, there were so many other people out there that don't know how to untangle from credit card debt or from just not knowing what to do. Yeah. So I got educated, and now I'm helping others be where I am.
Awesome. Yay.
Good job, my girl.
And Scott?
Yeah.
No, I'll just listen to Theodora, because my plan for my credit card debt was to change my name.
And that's where Lenny comes in.
That's where Lenny comes in.
When you guys look me up next week, I'll be Judy Finkel.
You can't say that as long as Larry's with us.
That's right.
Lenny.
Lenny is now on
so retired.
He's got your number.
He's so retired. All right, no, seriously. I don't even know how to talk about what I do, but I've got like 7 different podcasts that I do. Many of them involved spotlight on addiction and recovery, talking to people in recovery, talking to treatment centers, trying to root out how to find good places to get treatment, and obviously professionals in different modalities. Then I also have, of course, I do the show with Lynn. I have Live Out Loud, which is about enjoying life in spite of everything that you've gone through. There's enjoyment to be had, and if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to want to do it anymore. So stay happy, have fun. I'm doing a podcast with another friend of mine, which is He Said, She Said. It's opposing views between men and women. And I'm starting in 2 weeks. I'm starting a show with my ex. That's going to be called The Exes. And we are going to
come in there sometime, and he's going to have an egg sandwich. But other than that,
but I have Addiction Training Center. We train people in intervention skills, communication skills. I work with treatment centers, showing them how to engage with the clients. How to engage the unengageable. And I put music programs in treatment centers and art programs now. And we also have a nonprofit, the One Brother, One Sister, and we have a production company, Live Out Loud Productions, where we do podcasts and we film and we do that. So I don't do a lot. I stay busy. Somebody at one point reached out their hand to me, and I had given up my my membership card to the Human Race a long time ago, and somebody granted me a new one. And so if I spend the rest of my life trying to help everybody, then that's a small price to pay. I've lost a lot of people, including my wife, who overdosed and died, and friends and other people. This is what I do. This is what I do. Everybody is reachable. Everybody is savable. The only real battle I have out there is just getting to them. But you guys are all good. I can tell already. You're all decent people. You know, I mean, we got family here, we got friends, we got everything. You know, you guys are family. But you know, you guys are great. I appreciate you listening to me. And again, I apologize, but I find humor is the way to get to anybody.
I love it.
There's too many people up there that want to just yell and shout and fire and brimstone. I watch treatment centers, and they're going to tell people how evil they've been and all the horrible things that are happening to them. And I'm like, who's selling the hope, though? Who's selling the hope? Who's showing them all the great things that are happening? Who's telling them you're not a victim from this? You're victorious from this.
Yeah.
Right, Theodora?
Like
We're all
that's-
victorious.
And that's why he's not here, but I love Rex Sykes because he just tells everybody, listen, you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
You're perfect the way
he's on my show next week. I'm really excited to pick his brain while he's on.
Excellent.
But he's so much like Glenn Morshower, Bob, and Glenn's such a mentor to me too. Oh, and Walter's going to be on my show here before too long. I should have sent him an invite too. But you know, that's the thing, is that people need to know they're okay where they're at. And it's a blessing, all your experiences you've gone through, because your experience is giving you tools now how to handle things going forward. And when you close those doors behind you, you can go forward. You don't have to be stuck. Everything in the past is an illusion now. You take what you want that's good and let go of everything else that isn't. That's one of my opinions. I'm pumped about it too. No worries about the
invite next time. Yes. Hey, Scott, really, really quickly, you know, you and I have talked on here several times, and I'm a big fan of yours, obviously. But when you just said implementing the arts, you know, music, painting, and all of that into rehab, that's ingenious, because I mean, let's face it, if they're trying to quit one thing and they're lost, maybe they're going to be like you and they have a hidden talent that they didn't even know existed, and it can keep them busy on something else. That's beautiful. I love that you're doing that.
Yeah,
it's basic chemistry. It lights up, music lights up more parts of your brain than heroin or fentanyl or alcohol. It lights up 9 different parts of your brain light up when you're listening to music. So if you can connect them to a music that just makes them feel good, you know, for me, it's the old song Aqua, Barbie Girl from Aqua. Just makes me feel good every time I hear it. But
how does it go?
Oh, he's going to
come on,
start.
Barbie, let's go party.
Come on, keep going.
No, I'm not going to sing the girl part. I just do that when I'm alone and I'm just kind of walking around the house.
I go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing to tell you.
She's got some skills and some tools. Watch out. You never know what she's going to do.
She's sneaky, that girl, Lynn.
She really is.
That's why
you are never watching me again. Thank you. I'm just going to have an outline for my picture next time.
Lenny, you know I'm never a dull moment. Come on now.
Oh, I know that. That's why I carry a gun.
Right.
And I live in Montana, so it's all good.
You carry a bunch of guns.
Yeah, we do. Anyhow, this is not an infomercial for.
Well, I'm going to be on your show soon, Debbie, because I did fill in the calendar thing, and
yeah, I know. I'm so glad. Like, I'm booked clear out through September now. It's crazy.
So
crazy good.
I want to go to Lenny real quick and ask Lenny, in your line of business, do you actually see people reformed, or you see them at their worst? But I know you're a kind-hearted guy, and I'm sure you've watched that. Okay, I won't ruin your reputation.
No, I've seen people destroy themselves. You know, my former career, I've seen them destroy themselves.
Sure.
You know, I mean, brilliant people, and they take that brilliance and they go down the wrong path with it. And it, you know, you sit there and you go, gee, if you would have just thought about, you know, use that energy for something that wasn't illegal, you know, and poisoning other people. And, you know, there's a lot of that I've seen, you know, and it's just really tough, you know, to do that. But, you know, I've seen people that have kind of pulled it out of their 4th point of contact, and they have turned themselves around. I've seen a lot of law enforcement officers that they didn't want to. When I first came into the business, it was, oh, you never you never had a problem. You can face it all. And, you get around. I can remember being 20 years old in Fort Hood, Texas, and picking up body parts from a helicopter crash. And, that was pretty traumatic, and I've talked to people since then, and of course it's gotten better in law enforcement. And it's like, hey, this PTSD is a real deal for guys who are not just in a combat zone.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
it's taken a long time for that to come around, but I'm glad to see that, they're making big strides in that.
And Scott's making a good dent there in Florida.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, McFly. Where's McFly?
That's my
Is that
house
you,
phone. So
Bob?
it was nothing but a political deal or somebody telling me that they bought another laptop from my Amazon account for $1,000.
Oh, that's always nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's yours then. Okay. Oh my goodness.
If I had time, I would have talked to them for a while. I love keeping scam artists on the phone for about 20 minutes.
Meanwhile, you're on the other phone and said, "Hey, did you get a trace on that?"
Yeah.
Hey, you're on a podcast right now.
Yeah. I
We'll watch this back later for details.
Oh my goodness. So let me go around
Black
the room.
socks or white socks? I saw you put that up there.
Oh yeah, we had Scott Ricard said he had a serious question for us. 7 experts on the panel: white socks or black socks with flip flops. Okay.
I'm old school. No socks.
No
I'm
socks.
sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm
say
with
no
you.
socks.
All right, Scott, you got your answer. I saw that pop up.
Absolutely no socks with flip flops. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the panel is all voted. Everybody in favor of no socks. There you go. Yeah, there. You see,
That was easy.
great minds all think alike.
I've never seen anyone wearing socks with flip flops. Oh, does he mean slides? Like the slides, not.
So he posted a picture earlier on his profile, right? He had white socks and they're in the flip flops that are like the bounce.
I'm gonna find it.
I see people doing that. Yeah.
Debbie, if you want to see that, come to Las Vegas at any time. Go down on the Strip. You will see a million people from, because people will do things here in Peoria, that they would never do in Peoria. So,
true.
Yeah,
trust me on that.
I'm sure. That's funny. What's next?
What did you see, Lynn? What?
Don't just keep having the conversation for a minute. Just
I
give it a minute.
worry about her when she gets.
Yeah, there's going to be an insert here coming soon.
Something's coming, and somebody's going to be embarrassed.
Well,
Right.
let's talk
Where you
about
live.
this. So I'm excited to have Bob on the show, and he's going to be on June 29th, and that's my birthday.
I'm looking forward to it.
Bob is going to be there on your birthday, and I guess I'll be there too as
It's
your
going to be a
producer.
birthday party. Get ready, Bob.
Party. I'm ready.
I'm going to have balloons behind me.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh, good. Let's. Gonna be
Speaking
a
of a
party.
good time, Bob,
It's a great way to spend your 28th birthday. Let me tell
I
you.
know. I can't believe I'm almost 30. It's crazy.
Speaking of a good time, Bob, you have a good time just getting a bunch of people together. You want
I
to just
do.
talk about that without selling and giving your,
I'm
1-800-WW555-1212?
I've done this for 12 years. I was speaking one day and doing a one-day event, and I had nothing to offer at the end. And somebody said, "What are you going to offer?" I said, "I have no idea." But throughout the day, I'd been talking about these people that had mentored me, spent time with me, like Keith Ferrazzi or Les Brown or Tony Robbins or all these different people. And I'm like, these have been great mentors to me over the years, and some of them in person and some of them, virtually. But I said, how would, if I was going to hold a dinner, just a private dinner once a month, and I brought in one of these people to be a guest of honor and just have dinner with us, break bread, how many guys would like to belong to that? And everyone raised their hand, of course. And I said, well, that's, the minimum is going to be $250, or I think it was $200 at the time. And you got to commit to 12 months. Because we don't want people hopping in and out. We want, real community and everything else. And we still had, people saying yes at the end. So 12 years ago, we started Next Level by Association. And so once a month, I've brought somebody in to have dinner with us and share their story about where they came from, where they're at now, and then where they're going. And it's just one of those things that I absolutely love. It's if I could only do one thing out of everything else I do, that would be it. Because I get to associate with the people, but more importantly, I get to really share my friends, my network with people. And because of the parameters of, the price and every month and for 12 months, you get the right type of people sitting in the room. Not everyone's told yes. We say no to some, and but it's just one of my all-time favorite things. And this we do it the third Thursday of every month in Orange County, and then we do some pop-ups. We've done pop-ups in Scottsdale and Idaho and some other places, but that's the thing, man. I love that community of people. And it doesn't matter whether it's a group of 10 people or a group of 75. We've had 75 people at once. It's always a great time.
I love that. I love that.
That's amazing. Because
okay.
So
that's none of our panel. That's now, Scott Ricard.
That's an actual thong.
I think Scott needs to be.
That's like, ow.
I think Scott needs to be on the show and explain that, because that's really not okay.
No, I think his foot needs to stay anonymous. I mean, come on. I know it's okay.
Scott, 7 out of 7 coaches agree you're screwed, pal. This is not a good way to start. No.
Yeah,
get rid of the socks.
Yeah. So, anyways, I mean, we've got about 10 more minutes here, and then we're going to call it quits. But I just want to. I'm honored. I know Scott is too, that all of you guys took time to be here with us and just have a little bit of we didn't come with the topic today, but we did pretty good with just, some little feedback there. I really think this is fantastic. And Bob, we met in Clubhouse over a year and a half ago.
See, I told you, Debbie. I told you.
And it's all about Bob. The next
it isn't. And
it's
Lenny
all
to
about
be,
Bob.
No, it's not. And Lenny to be here is really awesome too. If you see him without his glasses and stuff, he reminds me of Billy Joel.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I see it.
Yeah.
Billy Joel.
And I had him on my podcast.
Ask you something. Sorry, Lynn, to interrupt. Lenny, did you see? Was it 2 weeks ago or last week? I think it was 2 weeks ago. When we lost our glasses and we came up with the.
Wait.
Can you play that?
I can play that.
Because then we can all practice.
That was hilarious. Poor Rex is never going to live this down, and he is so amazing.
Okay, so listen. Look at the screen, and you got to look to your bottom left, underneath me, and it's after Scott says a couple words, Rex talks, because it's so fast.
Rex. Just watch Rex.
Yeah, just watch Rex.
And then we'll practice.
Okay.
I own the things I do. I can also change the things I do. So it's all about owning your behaviors.
And the work that you do when you're training people to help other just back my own glasses up.
That's a great blooper for later. I needed a blooper. I got it now.
Fantastic. Wow. Did that really happen?
Man, you really tossed those fuckers.
How hard is it to find your glasses when you knock your glasses off your face? Because now you can't see.
Man, that was some turn. That was some turn. Whoa.
How many times I lose my glasses and can't see them to find them?
Are you nervous? Do we make you nervous?
Yeah. As an example, I just sabotaged myself.
I knew he was going to turn this into an example.
When you don't have an answer, throw your glasses across the room. There you go.
I tried really hard not to sabotage, but if things happen. So the point is, and I almost fell off my chair trying to find them. So. I'm only here for your laughing pleasure.
You guys.
I love Rex.
When he turned up missing for like a minute, I was like, where is he? He was trying to get his glasses. And then when I said suckers, it sounded like something else. I sounded completely awful. When they had the playback, I was like, I did not say that.
And what's great though is Rex, he's an actor and film director and all these things, and he is going to be he doesn't know exactly where, but on Father's Day, his movie that he was in is going to be out. So
my face still hurts every time I see that.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't want to laugh at first because I didn't want to be rude. And then Brian Calm was like, wow, did that really happen? And then Lynn's laugh, the cackle. I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And then when he came up smiling, I was like, oh, we're good. We're good. It's fine.
Hey, to know me is to love me. What can I say?
Oh my gosh. But if you watch, I watched it back and watched everyone's reaction. And I was really delayed. I was like, oh, I don't want to laugh at it. I don't want him to think I'm laughing at him because I would never, ever do that. But it was just funny.
Well, what's funny is I didn't even realize his glasses came off. I was like, what? His glasses? Wait, his glasses.
Maybe you should get glasses, hon.
Oh my gosh. And then Theodora, she made it look like really Hollywood. Yeah. I was imitating him. And she's like, and I was like, God, that looks good when Theodora does that.
That is not the way Rex looked.
We're just trying to.
He did not look like Theodora when he
I hate to say it. After that,
we're just trying to be supportive.
Rex has showed up on the show. I kid you not, like this. Wait. I think like this. Wait, I don't know. I'm trying to do it. Edit.
Can't do it.
No, I don't know. But he came up just like a circle, and when he talked, it would vibrate and get bigger.
Yeah, he wouldn't show his face anymore.
He would show his face.
It was like Jersey protection program there, kind of, you know.
I think this is the perfect example of what your show is all about. We live, we love, and we laugh, and we laugh. When we laugh, because it's part of life, and we have to laugh about everything that we go through, so we can go through.
And that's why we love this one called As We See It. And that's why we love having you guys here. Open invitation. I will just send you a link every week if you can pop in. If you can't, Joe must have been busy or else he would have been here. But it's great energy. It's just great people. Just, we're ad-libbing. We're just going with the flow. We're all improvising and just being, and just, it's all for the sake of laughter and love. And that's what programming needs now.
We spent a lot of time doing some negativity against coaching and some other things. I want to make sure that we wrap this up with positive messages, because there are people who need help. There are people that could benefit from the proper coach in the proper area in their life. Right. So maybe everybody can kind of share, if somebody's out there struggling with a certain part of their life, how do they find the right person for them? What is something they can do? Let's leave them with a positive message. The truth is, I got people out there, they'll spend more time researching the next car they buy than the doctor or the rehab or the coach that they're going to bring into their lives to tell them how to live. So how can we give them a positive message that if you do need help, here's some good things to look for? Can we tackle that before we go?
Yeah. Lenny, do you want to be first or not?
Well, you just throw me under the bus all the time. Jeez, well, I'm never going to a subway platform with you ever. Okay,
I love you.
Yeah, whatever.
Just make sure the camera's rolling when you do that, Lynn, because that's good exposure for us.
Million hits on YouTube. No, I think you guys hit it on the head earlier. Of course, I got in late, but it's really hard for some people just to ask. And, just to say, hey, look, go to somebody, and say, what do you think? It doesn't have to be the depth of your research on somebody, but, ask them. And if they're truly your friend or truly your family and care about you, they'll help you with that, and I mean, I've been accused over the years of, never being able to say no. And, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, can you help me with this? I will do everything I can to try to do that. Even when it's times I'm going like, geez, I wish I hadn't have, but or it causes a lot of problems and it dominoes and causes me things. But, the idea of being able to be there for somebody has always been kind of near and dear to me. And I just think if you ask, just take the time and ask someone.
I love that. And Lenny, before we go from you, what's above your head there, that camera?
Oh, that's I'm sitting in my living room and I'm a movie buff. And this is the Top Gun thing was one of my favorite movies in '86. So my oldest daughter gave me that for a birthday. And, I've got the old poster from the day the earth stood still, because yes, I love old 50s, science fiction horror movies. They scared the living hell out of me as a child, but now I just go, damn, that's funny.
I love it. Thank you, Rodney. Hey, Barry, we're going to you next, sir.
Okay. Actually, to tag on to Lenny, when I was the thing that scared me most was Doctor Who with the Daleks in black and white. Scared the bees out of me. And then of course the thing is, I figured out when I got a bit older, they can't get upstairs. So they changed it later on, but they actually made them where they could fly, but that was a whole other story. Anyway, I'm a sci-fi nut too myself. For me, I'd suggest basically, first of all, find someone, if you're going to talk to somebody as a coach or as a mentor or as a leader, will they give you a consult? Will at least have a chance to have a conversation before you sign up, like test driving a car before you buy it. You buy a car sight unseen, that's a challenge. But frankly, if you can talk to them first and you get a feel for who they are, that's a good starting point. And again, and in-person referrals. So who do you know that knows somebody that can help you?
Yeah.
So those are my 2 recommendations.
I love it. Debbie?
So my security system's going off upstairs, and the dog came downstairs. So someone perhaps maybe robbing my house, but hey, I'm a good time to go.
I want your address. I can call the pop-up for you.
Yeah. So they may be dispatched already, Lynn. We'll see. But it's when I work in the school systems and I work with the anti-drug and educational program is just part of the extra I do. Because the city schools, they're one of my clients for marketing, but I'm also involved as a volunteer for this program. I see a lot of kids struggling, and there's a lot of mental health issues going on there. It bothers me even talking about it, because it's almost like when I watch them and you see body language and you can tell they're just downtrodden and they're just struggling. And we have to be able to, when you see that happening, reach out to them and tell them, listen, you're worth a lot. You don't feel like you are, but you need to reach out. And we consistently say we need to tell them how they need to reach out to someone. But we who are of healthy mind need to take it one step farther and just try to put them with the right person. I am not a psychologist, nor am I a psychiatrist. I am not, I'm not in anything that would give me the authority to, I can love somebody and try to help them that way, but I'm not educated. I'm not an expert in that, but I know how to find the right people. And just once you put those people, that connection together, then you can step away and let them get the help that they need. So I just think that just as human beings, just to care enough to take an extra second to pay attention that someone's struggling, and to say, if you don't know how to get help, you don't want to go up to someone you don't really know and be like, you look like you're really sad, although I've been known to do that. Like, you need someone to talk to or whatever. But we can definitely find the right people for these kids. And then, like, I want Scott in our school. I want Scott to zoom in or whatever and provide his services, because he has a powerful message, and he is a great example of what a success story is. When you make wrong choices and you go down a path that's not that great, but you can come out of it and know you are worth it.
Yeah.
Really. So I agree with basically what everyone else is saying.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, who watching this was just waiting for somebody to walk behind her with a flat screen?
Stop.
Right?
Stop, Scott.
I'm just saying. We were all waiting for it. We're all looking.
Yeah.
Love you, Debbie.
She's
Debbie,
trembling.
you're the best.
I'm like,
You're the
someone's
best.
totally up there. I know, it's funny. All of a sudden.
Anyways, Bob.
Yeah, I think obviously everything that's been said is appropriate and perfect. I think the only thing I would add would be being specific about what you're looking for. Like, if it's with drugs, be specific about what you're looking for is somebody who has experience with helping people with drugs. I think too many times we have fallen prey to the generalist when we need a specialist. And so I would say get very specific about what it is you're looking for, and then ask appropriately. And those referrals from people that have been there, know what that's like. have gotten help, and then they can say, this is what helped me. Because guess what? Along the way, they probably had people that didn't help them, and they can tell you those people to avoid as well.
That's
Absolutely
perfect, Bob. Thank
Excellent.
you so much. Teodora?
It's so hard to close after that statement. And I'm honored to be the last one here. And I'm honored to be in a room with such amazing people offering, such amazing insight. One thing that I want to add is that what I see in the industry that I work with in financial services. One thing that I want people to know and acknowledge is to go to somebody that can show you the results that you're looking for. Because everybody can put a financial game plan for you. It's like you go and you ask for financial advice. Anybody, like I said, mom and dad can give you financial advice, but you want to be able to see the results and talk to somebody and reach out to somebody that will show you the results and how to get there, and not just say, okay, here, do this. Have the results, go, just like Bob said, in specific to what you're looking for, rather than just general and say, oh, let's just get, have a retirement account, or make sure you have life insurance. That's one that bothers me so much. Make sure you have life insurance. I do. Well, is it the right kind? Does it serve what you need it for? So the results matter.
Yes.
I want, to amplify so much of whatever kind of help that we're going to get and we're asking for, no matter what kind of help. Make sure you see the results. And if you don't, move on and keep going until you see them.
Love that.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna go, and then Scott can wrap that up. But I want to say a couple different things. Is that just remember that ask yourself the questions yourself. What is it you're looking for? What is it you need? But then also, I'll use this as a quick example. It's just like if you're a first-time mother, or you've had problems before and you're going to have a baby, and you go into a labor delivery room, you ask each nurse, have you had any kids? Have you had any kids? And that being in my case, I had one girl in there that had 4 kids. And then she's telling me, oh, push, it's not so bad. And I'm like, you only have 4 dogs. I don't want to hear it from you. So I'm just using that as an analogy to say, sometimes if you can resonate with somebody, because we all have different feelings and perspectives as we see it. But if someone has loss, like Bob's had loss, I've lost a baby at childbirth. And I mean, I could relate to him, kind of thing, in different levels. But I'm just saying, you go and you see what the commonality, what is it that you can have as a neutral ground in that thing. But most of all, don't forget your gut instincts. If your gut says it doesn't feel right, why do you keep going? If it doesn't feel right, you should listen to that whisper and that intuition first and foremost. And again, don't talk to a labor and delivery coach who has 4 dogs. Talk to the one that has 7 kids is my recommendation. So I'm going to pass that over to you, Scott.
Yeah.
I love everything everybody said. I think you guys were all brilliant. And, from making sure that you're surrounding yourself with positive people, because if you're surrounding yourself with negative people, there's not a coach in the world that can affect change that's going to stay, because you need to be around positive people. You need to evaluate yourself, at least to the point of knowing I need to work on this. Too often these days, people have a problem and they equate it to their whole life sucks. Kids are walking around saying FML, which is, frick my life.
Right.
A shoelace breaks, my life sucks.
Yeah.
And this is an attitude that we've adopted, and adults carry that attitude too. If I have a bad financial year at work, that means that I suck and I'm terrible. No, it doesn't mean that. Listen, if your car breaks down, it's because one part went bad. You don't get rid of the car. You replace that part. You look for that part, and yeah, everything can be dirty and grimy in there, but all the parts are still working. You can clean that up. You can be good. Guys, diamonds come out of dirty, nasty places. These dirty mines filled with spiders and nasty things. And if you dig a little bit, you come out with a diamond. We all have those things. We got to stop throwing away our lives because we got one problem, and take that problem to the appropriate person. Barry, I love what you said. People got to get to know people too. If you don't gel with them, it's not going to work. Talk to them. And if you're talking to a coach who says, I'm sorry, I can't get to know you until you pay me, that's not the coach you want. Unless you want somebody to coach you how to be a con man. Then you go to that guy or girl. But anyway, stop looking at your whole life as being broken and start looking at the individual pieces and what is not working. Work on one at a time. And what you'll find out is there's a lot of self-repair that goes on in the background and all your minor problems if you deal with the things that are right up front, you know, and go to the appropriate people. But again, if you go somewhere really great and you get all this great stuff, then you go back to the same negative environment that you were coming from. It's not going to stick. You need to create new environments for yourself, new friends, new relationships, if the ones you have aren't working. That's all I can say. There's a lot of self-work that goes on. There's not a coach in the world, but you could say, hey, fix my life. And there's no one. You got to do the work.
Yeah.
This is just a guide to help you find the diamonds. That's all it is, guys.
And I love everything you said, but I want to add the same thing goes with a piece of fruit. Because there's one bad part of it, you take that bad part out. The rest is good. You can enjoy the rest of the fruit.
Unless it's a banana, because once I see that brown spot, it's over for me. I'm sorry.
A banana's a banana, and you calling it out what you see. Is what
Obviously, Scott, you've never been that hungry before.
No, I was on a diet that I'm not on anymore, that I lived on for years, which was the Jack Daniels diet. It was a different plan. I lost a lot of weight and a lot of other things too. I no longer had cars, kids, houses, or money.
Yeah, I can tell you, I spent 3 weeks in the Army's jungle expert school in Panama, where we kind of had to go into the jungle and make our own food. That rotten banana would have been like, oh my God, Bananas Foster at the finest 5-star restaurant ever.
I love it. Any last words you guys want to say from what Scott said? Because he said a lot there that I just can see. Barry and Bob.
I'm going to go figure out what's going on. I love this group.
Okay, I
had
love you.
so much fun. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Deb.
See you later. Barry?
I was going to simply say, Scott, you haven't heard of banana ice cream.
That's no.
And Bob,
or you've never eaten durian fruit before.
True, yeah.
No, but I had an ex-wife who could not cook. I mean, does that help? How do you screw up ramen? I mean, come on.
It's so impressive that now you're going to have a show together.
Oh no, it's not. Well, no, it is that one. No, she said she was going to cook. She said she was going to cook one day. I came home from work and she was outside walking the dog, and her daughter comes running out of the house screaming fire. She lit the kitchen on fire trying to cook dinner. So that's why I took up cooking as another one of my hobbies. I love cooking. So, but anyway, except for bananas, I don't work with bananas.
You guys,
even if you have some clients that are bananas, but that's okay. Boom. Anyhow. Anything anybody else want to say before we leave? Bob?
I think you guys covered it. I think you did a great job. I appreciate all the insights and input. And you know what I love about what I'm hearing from you guys is that it's coming from practical and tactical experience. It's not something you read in a book and said, okay, now I'm an expert. And that's what I gauge by it. How many books did you read? Great. How many experiences did you have? That's what really matters to me. So I love the fact that you guys are talking from experience. Thank you.
You know, Bob, you said the expert word, and I have a friend of mine who recently retired from DevGru, basically SEAL Team 6.
Wow.
And he says an expert is nothing more than a has-been drip under pressure.
Has been drip under pressure. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what an expert is.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Lenny, thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. It's good to see you on camera.
Anytime.
And I was going to have him on a show. We were going to talk about the Baldwin thing with the guns and all that. But I guess we'll have to start that with another show. So we ran out of time a while ago. So we're going to close it here now. But thank you so much for having Teodora and Lenny and Barry and Bob and Debbie, who had to leave to make sure her house was still intact. So stay tuned next week and we'll tell you. Actually, tomorrow if she shows her show, I'm her producer. I guess everything's okay.
She just said no robbers. She's good. She just shared that with us.
All right.
She's reloading.
She's reloading.
I'm good. I'm reloading. Yes.
All right, you guys, you stay right there. Thank you so much, you guys. And this is all as we see it. Your opinion matters, and we hear you and we see you here. And that's one thing Bob always says. Go watch his TED Talk about we see you. And I'm so honored he's here. So I'm honored everybody's here. So love you guys. Hold on.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope